Hey, what's going on, everyone? Darian, welcome to. Thank you for joining me tonight. Before we get started, I want to take a moment to give some flowers to Dolly Parton. She passed today. I really love Dolly Parton. I was introduced to her watching the movie 9 to 5 when she played Dora Lee. That was my first introduction to Dolly Parton, and hearing all the stories about her throughout the years of how she stood up for so many communities and was an ally to so many different communities, and just made me love her even more. So 80 years still passed too soon. Also, I want to thank everyone for reaching out to me and checking on me to see how I was doing as I took some time away. Just to let you know, my brother-in-law is doing good. He is out of the ICU. He was transferred to a facility for physical therapy and now is out of that facility and back home. So we are real thankful for that. Glad that he made it through and he's on the road to recovery. As for my own personal situation, I am scheduled for my hernia surgery on September 15th. So I'm looking forward to getting that out the way and starting my healing process and getting back into the gym full time. And I check on my foot this Friday, so I'll find out about how to move forward with my foot on this Friday. So thank you all for checking in. And I wanted to jump on tonight to have Dairam come on to be more kind of a correspondent. He recently went to the OAC convention. I think it was held in Orlando this year. And I saw him started making some videos. He got in front of the camera a few times and posted some videos. I said, man, I got to get you on So he agreed to do that. You don't want me to tell nobody it's a secret. I know they
It's a
all have seen
secret.
it. They all have seen the video, Dario. They all see the video.
It's the worst
A
kept
few,
secret on
a
YouTube.
few of them. So I'm happy to have you on to talk about what the OAC is, what you learned at this convention, and all of that. So if you can give a brief overview of what the OAC is.
Well, if I'm going to be the roving reporter, I should have pulled out my microphone so I could say, live to you from the OAC. So let me quick story. So the OAC stands for the Obesity Action Coalition, and they annually have a convention called Your Weight Matters, and it's an opportunity for people who are living with obesity to come together to kind of congregate, to get education, to connect, to learn more, to learn different factions. And I could talk all about the education. I could talk about the networking. I can talk about how they had health fairs for people to be able to check different things. But the organization is derived of people who are really looking to advocate for people who are living with the disease of obesity. That's everything from access to care. That's everything from talking to your legislators to be able to pass laws so that people have access to care. It's about working with these pharmaceutical companies so that they can have either get more cutting edge things out there or make things more accessible by making them more affordable, about having clinical trials that include more minorities. So it's so many things that the Obesity Action Coalition is doing to try to bring awareness and also give voice to the people who are living with obesity. And living with obesity does not just mean people who are on GLP-1s or people who have bariatric surgery. These are people who may decide that they don't want any treatments, or they may say that they've tried every treatment. Every experience is acknowledged, and everybody is empowered to make a choice that benefits them and their families.
Nice, nice. So I think this was your second conference, right? If I remember correctly, you went last year.
Yes. So
Yes.
last year, the Your Weight Matters convention was held outside of Washington D.C., and they had several people who went up on Capitol Hill to talk to some of the different senators and representatives about it as well. So when I went last year, it was the first time I had heard about it, and I wanted to learn more about obesity and what it was all about. But what I came into was totally different. I was thinking that I was going to learn more about the disease, but I learned more about the community, about the people.
Mm,
And I was so taken aback about how connected people were that I said, okay, I got to do this again. So I decided I was going to save up and come and go on down to Orlando.
nice. So what is the setup? Is it like your typical convention where you have the general sessions and then a bunch of breakout sessions?
Yes. So
Okay.
it's normally a 3-day convention. So they had one, it was Thursday evening. Then it was Friday all day they had sessions, and Saturday they had sessions all day. And there are different types. You can go to sessions that are, you can choose your own adventure. Did you want to do advocacy for on the national level or the local level? Then on that Thursday night, they had a panel with Dr. Anya Yastreboff. They had Mike on a Mission from TikTok. They had Joe Naglowski, who is the president and CEO of the Obesity Action Coalition, and they had the then chair Nikki Massey, who they had a panel. And any other, like when you have your opening sessions for these conventions, they're telling you what it's all about, giving you the run ahead, what have they been doing over the past year, trying to get people charged up about the convention. Then on Friday it was all day sessions, and then on Saturday it was all day sessions. At night they have different mixers, like they had a costume party one night, and then they had like a formal on Saturday night.
Nice, nice. So choose your own adventure. What adventure did you choose? What piqued your interest this
So
time around?
I went in there because I'm not interested in going on the for the national stage and things like that. I want to deal with the everyday.
Yeah.
So my adventure was I wanted to do everyday advocacy. Well, I went in there thinking that I was going to be able to speak more towards the people who are around me. wow, I was changed because what it did was it showed that even the little things that you're doing, you're talking to somebody, you are giving people courage or giving them a glimmer of hope, is you're doing your own self advocacy. And if you're doing advocacy to give yourself power, voice, even the courage to go and just share a little bit. Now you don't have to come on, on YouTube with all these people.
Yeah.
You could just talk to your neighbor. You could talk to somebody who is in the doctor's office. You can talk to anybody and just share your experience. And the more you share, the more that it builds you up more so than the other person. So falling in love with yourself during this process makes me a better advocate because if I believe in what I'm doing, if I believe that what I'm doing is fruitful, it gives me more power to be able to share it with others and maybe show that there could be hope for them if they choose to accept it. That was on the choosing the adventure that I went the first day. The second day, we went in and there were some morning sessions. What stuck out to me, they had some amazing speakers. They had one with Dr. Robin Pashby. Now, I don't know if people saw Dr. Pashby's talk last year. She did one where she was unpacking our different weight bias. And you can find her video here on YouTube. But this year she went through and I'll give you the Cliff Notes version. She went through and she broke down internalized weight bias
Mm.
and how we, with this internalized weight bias, that we hold ourselves back, we hold people to different standards that are impossible, and we don't live fully with. We can treat the disease of obesity, you can go through, you can find treatments, whatever they are, and you can live in a smaller body. But what are you doing in the head work?
Yeah.
What have you done? Because if you can't recognize what success looks like, then you'll be chasing thinking that, oh, if I get to my goal, if I get to my goal weight, my life will be complete.
Yeah.
You get to your goal and you're trying to figure out what's next, what's missing, because you did not do any of the work to kind of fix your head. It's like saying, I want to take care of I want to make sure that I'm taking care of this headache, but where's my inhaler?
Yeah. Yeah.
So so that was on day two. Then we did more. I had spent a lot of times just talking with the people who were there. Where I found amazing was there was you ever been in a space where you've been around people who just get it?
Yeah.
You did not have to shrink.
Yeah.
You did not have to say, okay, are this seat gonna be able to support my body? Or, oh my goodness, I don't want to be, out here called out. It was none of that. These people, they got it. You can go in and you didn't have to shrink. The seats were stuff that everybody was comfortable. The tables were big. The spaces were wide. And you just really had a chance to sit down and connect with different people. So, being able to see people from every experience, to be able to talk with people who were living their lives fully and boldly, or if they wanted to keep it to themselves, every experience was welcome.
Yeah. I love the fact
Then
that
on the last,
I love the fact that they went to the level of detail to make sure that people's bodies can fit with the chairs and the tables. And so, like you say, you don't have to shrink yourself. You don't have to worry about sitting on a chair and being afraid it's going to break, or you can just be who you are and not worried about there and come as your whole self and have these discussions. I love that. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
no, you said exactly what it was, and that's
yeah,
exactly how it felt. And if you know, you know.
yeah, yeah,
So I think it was that was just the part that just took away. The education piece was great, but the connection with the people was really what impacted me more this year than I realized.
yeah. And there was a few people in the community that were there from some of the videos that I saw. I think I saw Jay there, I believe. GLP winner, GLP-1 winner, and Mike on a mission, and I think there were one or
Hmm.
two others that I saw there.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
so they had the downsized with Christopher
Oh
and
yes,
Lorraine. They
yes,
were there,
downsize,
and they
yes.
were and always the Your Weight Matters convention partnered with the downsize, and so they went and so if you're looking for any of the interviews with the people who were the any of the hosts or any of the speakers, They went and they did interviews with the downside, so you can see the videos there. So if in case you missed it or you were not able to attend, you can kind of see what they talked about there. So they were there. What was amazing was last year there was very little mention of the social media aspect
Mm,
of it, but between last year and this year, it was so. This is to show the power of the voice of the people on social media. This year, last year they had maybe 250 people. This year they had about 450 people, and of the 450 people, half of them, I mean, like 100 of them came from the TikTok community. Mike on a mission, he invited them.
yeah,
The other 150 came from Downsize, invited them. So over half of the room came from social media platforms alone to show that there's a presence of people who are looking for information. And last year was a whisper. This year they were going all out with trying to get social media involved because they realized
the
when
power of social
people are
media.
the power of social media.
Yeah,
When you are handed your medication and and your care team is not one that's empowering you with information, or you don't know what to ask, people are coming to social media to try to find information. People who look like them, people who can explain things to them, give them questions, empower them to be able to make different decisions. And OAC is realizing that if you want these advocates, you got to go to where the people are.
yeah, yeah. That's a great point. So, advocacy. You mentioned that they advocate through our legislatures, our Senate and Congress people. What else are they doing outside of that to advocate for people? Are they going to the state houses? Are they advocating with the pharmaceutical companies to lower prices? What else are they doing?
Sure. So now let's make sure that we put this out here. I'm not the OAC
Yeah, I know.
POC.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that they, because if y'all ain't write me a check, I'm just kidding. Anyway, I'm not, I just want to say I just want to make sure that we have the distinction, but I'll tell you the things that they're doing. So they're working with national, they want to get to the Congress and they want to get to the senators because one of their passion projects is for the Treat and Reduce Obesity Act,
Yeah,
or TROA, where they were talking about being able to change the law that says that coverage for obesity, or they say coverage for weight loss, is illegal. So they want to change that law so that people can get more coverage when it comes to that. But they have the national convention and they doing the national speaking. But what they also are doing, they have regional events. So they're going all across the US to different regions, and in going to the different regions in the different states, they are meeting with the state legislators. They're meeting with the locals, so that if you are there, say for instance, if we're going to Nevada, we're going to go to Las Vegas. So if we're going to Las Vegas, we're going to get the people who are in Las Vegas charged, give them the information, teach them about advocacy, talking to their legislators, being able to go and go to the state, be able to talk about, hey, we want these things covered. We want we want to make sure they're coverage for our people who live here. So because we know that charity starts at home and goes abroad. So you'll have more impact in your local community than you may have something that's national. So I know that they do regional events. So if you go to OAC, and I'll give you the link for it to put in the show notes, but people can go and they can find some of the local events. So you don't have to wait till next year. Next year in 2027 is going to be in New Orleans, but they have events that's all over the US now. So you can go to some local events, see what they're talking about, and more in a smaller scale, more intimate scale as well.
mm. Might get me out there next year. I've been wanting to go to New Orleans.
Well, there you
Mm,
go. It'll be the time for you to make your debut.
yeah.
So now, when you talk about farmer, now this is all just things that I've heard, and this is just pure conjecture, not necessarily fact. But from what I'm understanding, some of these big pharma, they are sponsors for the OAC. Now, in the sponsorships that they're having, the I've heard the president and the CEO saying that they're having conversations because the pharma is coming to them and asking, how do we get these things out? Well, cost is a barrier. So they're constantly telling them that cost is a barrier. and that they need to lower the cost. They need to do more innovative ways so that people who need treatment can get treatment. What are some of the things that could be done? What are you doing in development in making sure that more access is for the different people? So I know that they're advocating for more access. I know they're advocating for lower costs and things like that. What does that look like? I don't know, but I know that they're ringing the same bell.
Yeah.
Get our people access because they can't afford it. These things are too high.
Yeah. Now this is me saying this. This isn't Darian saying this. So
Oh,
I
hold
know
on. Let me
that.
drink my water so they won't get confused. That is, they see two black people, they think we both look the same.
I know the sponsorship by the big pharma companies has been a point of contention with OAC because OAC has come out against access to compounding GLP-1s. Um, I know that's been a large discussion in the community for the year plus that I've been aware of OAC and their existence. Um, I'm not asking you to speak on that, but I just wanted to point that out when we're talking about
Oh, I don't.
access
I
and
mean, I don't mind speaking on it.
yeah,
I don't.
yeah,
I mean, I know that last year it. Now this is me talking. Now, if you come sue me, I ain't got no money. But this is just me talking and saying that last year it seemed like the word compound was like persona non grata. We don't talk about Bruno.
yeah,
That's how it was in the last year. Now this year, I don't think there was not a anti compound conversation, but there was not a pro compound conversation. It
yeah,
was we know cousin Bruno is over there.
yeah,
We ain't gonna say much to him because Big Daddy is over here writing the checks, but we not gonna put him out. We know he over there. Hey Bruno, we ain't got nothing to say too much, but you not a cast out like last year.
yeah.
So I think that it was a little. I think that I don't know about their talking points. I don't know what they're saying as far as compounding because I've not heard the same scuttlebutt that we heard last year.
Yeah.
But I do know that there was less friction when it came to talking about compounding last year.
Interesting. All right, let me ask you this. You may or may not know this. Are they doing anything in terms of advocacy for accommodations for bigger bodies, like um, access to plane seats, larger seats in restaurants, and things of that nature? I know there was a big. I know, like Southwest changed their policy last year regarding larger bodies and access to seats, and they reversed it because of the uproar. I don't know if OSC was involved in that or not. I'm not sure if
So
you know.
I don't know if OAC is doing it on a for their national piece of it, but I do know that they have different factions because there's so many issues and there's so many subject matter experts.
Mhm.
And I know that, for instance, they had somebody who was working with the travel policy. So, for instance, when people were traveling to the OAC this year, they sent out like a newsletter about traveling, getting access to accessibility services like wheelchair use, or if you have to a person of size clause and things like that.
Yeah,
Now they're different. I know that Southwest, as you said, that they changed their person of size clause, and there are a few airlines that do have a person of size clause about people who are traveling in larger bodies, but nationally, I don't think so. But I know that they have people who were writing articles and doing talking things as it relates to that to the issue. Are they going to big plane or big travel about accessibilities? I don't know. I do know that when they're doing the local advocacy or the local training, they're teaching you about because I think that they have where they're speaking with providers and clinicians about using about using person first language, about making sure that your lobbies are accessible, making sure that you have some of the bariatric chairs, making sure you have chairs that are without handles, so that people who are in larger bodies, they can make sure that they have space so that they can feel comfortable, like having the something that people who don't live in larger bodies don't get, being able to have areas where if you're going to be weighed, you're not weighed in the middle of the check-in area. You have at least an area where it's private, so that when you have to step on the scale, then it's not broadcasted what your weight is. It's something that you and the nurse that you're working with can kind of keep private.
Yeah.
All of those types of things, and making sure that the nurses and the doctors, they know how to touch a person with a person of size, so that they feel comfortable and confident, and not feel like they don't know how to navigate those bodies. So I know that they're doing training for locally, so that you can talk to your local doctors, because every state, every area has different laws as relates to space and what the community is going to need and look like.
Now, was there any new research data that was presented that stuck out to you?
No, they didn't. They didn't talk a lot about the research thing, because this was more of the patient focused, more
Uh-huh.
so than talking to the doctors like what you would get at Obesity Week. That is mainly for the clinicians.
And so, did they cover anything that's on the horizon that they're working on? No.
Nothing that I saw. This was more. They didn't talk too much about they didn't talk too much about the upcoming things. Now I do know that Dr. Anya Yastreboff, the co-author for the book Enough with Oprah Winfrey, I know when she did the interview with the Downsized, she went in and she really talked about the different therapies. I think that they spent some time talking
Hmm.
about retatrutide, but also about the clinical trials, about how people who are having access to care, knowing that there may be different things. So if people have maxed out on the current therapies, what are some of the other stacking things that they can go to their doctors with, maybe with some of the older therapies on top of some of the newer, to kind of see what can be done in that regard. And I know that they touched on the pipeline things, but not on the main stage. This was more of what was the conversation for the Downsides, because the Downsides, they do more of the news about the
Yeah.
cutting edge information, because
Yeah.
that's what the audience
Yeah.
wants.
So, assuming that there were keynote speakers, was there any keynote speaker that stuck out to you, or anything that they said that stuck out to you?
Sure. So the first one was Dr. Anya Yastreboff. Um, with what stuck out to me was the things that she said. She's very well spoken, and she's been on the press junket, so you've heard a lot of her talking points. But something that stuck out to me more so than at how incredibly knowledgeable she is, how incredibly compassionate she is, how much she cares for her patients, and she looks each person in their eye when having a conversation with them. But she said something that I don't think a lot of doctors admit. She said that all of the knowledge that I have gained about the disease of obesity have been from
Yeah.
my patients telling me their experience. I want to hear about what's going on with them. I want to know about the side effects. I want to know about constipation. I want you to tell me everything, because this information is something that kind of helps me with making sure that I can do a better job of taking care of more than just you, but other people who don't have the courage to say those things. So the connection she has to her patients was really impactful to me, and how this lady who is really busy makes and takes time to talk to each she talked to a lot of the people who were there, but the way that she talked to her patients, that was really impactful for me.
Yeah, I think that's a profound statement as well, because someone in her field who has gone through all these years of medical school, I'm assuming she's certified in obesity management, board
Hmm.
certified, and all the studies that are out there, and everything that she's learned about obesity is from dealing with her patients. So it's the real world lives that we're living that is informing her in the way that she cares for her patients and understands their needs and desires and wants. I think that's really deep, profound statement.
And RMZ, to put another, like I'm on the Dr. Anya fan club. Dr. Anya was the one who came and did the top line data for
Mm.
retatrutide clinical trials. So she compiled all of the peer reviews and peer information and presented all of those information to the ADA scientific sessions
Mm.
about retatrutide and about the top line numbers and things like that. She ran those studies. I
Yeah.
think that she also was one of the ones who did the ones for tirzepatide as well. So she's not only dealing with the clinical trial piece of it, but also the patient experience as well,
Yeah.
to kind of have a more well-rounded approach to what these medicines are doing, not just in development, but in implementation.
Love that. Love that.
So she was amazing. Second night, Dr. Robin Pashby, she really spoke to me because this whole thing about internalized weight bias, because so many of us are here in this community, we are really working really hard to get to our goals. And then get into the goals, we feel like life is going to start when I get to my goal. And there's so many people who reach goal and trying to figure out what's next, or what or when you're trying to get to your goal and you're frustrated. And why I segue to talk about this whole messy middle, because why wait to start living till you get to your goal? Why not start
Mm,
living now, so that
yeah,
as you're getting there, building your life, then when you get to goal, your life looks a whole lot different
yeah,
because you built it up as you go along.
yeah. You're already living it. Yeah,
You're already living it and not waiting to live to get there.
yeah,
And then you had Ted Kyle. Ted Kyle is somebody who's been in this space for a long time, and he was talking about how about the connection between the community, and then talking about how there's different stigmas that's going on with the trials or with the new medications and things that are coming up, but about the future of these things and how we can kind of direct what's coming next. So I was like, wow, Mr. Kyle, he did a really good job with that.
yeah.
The last days were more of the community interactions, and I got a lot of just one-on-ones, because it gave us time to talk to different people. And those things, they were, to me, a lot more interesting than I'm trying to sit in for more of the keynote speakers, because I wanted to kind of connect more with the people. Some of their stories were so dynamic, or just to hear how people are navigating the world really impacted me a bit more. So I did a lot more of that.
So, if from dealing with the people, is there one story that really struck a chord with you more than any other one?
Yes. Oh, now you want me to have a revolt? They talk about my story was different than that. Okay, so what? I spent a lot of time talking to a gentleman who was in his 70s, and he was navigating obesity for the longest time, and never could catch a break. And then he all of a sudden got into finding that he went to bariatric surgery. He decided that he wanted to go through bariatric surgery. He went through with that. He got connected with social media starting at 70 years old, getting connected with social media, trying to find out about. I asked him, I said, well, why did you wait till 70 to decide that you wanted bariatric? He's like, I was getting old. I was tired of hurting just moving.
Yeah,
So he went through that. He connected with communities to learn more about that. Then he decided, well, okay, I've lost this particular weight. I don't want to gain this weight back. Talking with the community, he decided to get on GLP-1s. And getting on GLP-1s, he's like, I'm now that I'm on GLP-1s and had the bariatric surgery, I'm a truck driver. I'm driving for hours, but every truck stop I'm getting to, I'm getting out there, I'm getting my steps in. I'm eating clean. I'm making my food. I'm changing my life. And he's doing all this. And I mean, I think he probably 72,
wow,
walking around this convention and just have not met did not meet a stranger,
wow,
but sitting there wanting to hear people's story. What stuck out to me was this man reminded me life does not stop at 70. Life starts wherever you are. It's never
yeah.
too old to take claim of your life and live it more fully. I was really impressed with him.
I love that. I love that. I love that. All right. Conference next year in New
Mhm.
Orleans. It's in August, I'm assuming.
No, it's going to be in July.
Oh, okay.
It'll be in July, and I think the dates are announced. So I'll see the information so you can put it in the description. But yeah, it's in July of 2027.
I don't know about New Orleans in July, man. It's hot.
Well, sir, I didn't know about Orlando in July, but here we are.
New Orleans is a different kind of hot.
It is a different kind of high, but all of the hotels in New Orleans going to have a whole lot of air conditioning.
Yeah,
Well, I know you all are cold, but
yeah. And I stay in Vegas. I think it was 112 today. So, but We don't have that humidity.
No,
Yeah.
no, you don't have humidity nor crawdads.
Yeah. True.
So,
True. True. All right. You want to take some questions from the community?
sure, let's talk to the people.
All right. Community, what y'all got? Let's see if we got any questions in there already. No questions yet, but I'm sure they'll come. I see
But while we're
Jesus
waiting
in
for
the
some
house.
questions, while we're waiting for some questions, I also want to do a shout out to Dolly Parton. Dolly Parton to me is the embodiment of somebody who, to me, she was human the human materialization or the incarnation of an outcast, because she did everything on the outside to be as bold and as against the grain as possible, but she used her platform to speak up for the underdog, to take up for the underdog. And she did not take any mess, but she would give strangers the coat off of her back.
Yeah.
And I was like, this bright light that is dressed in all this glitz and glam was somebody who had more courage than a lot of people give her credit for.
Yeah.
So I was like, don't just look at the cover and all of that. But she didn't just talk the talk, but she put her money behind it, and she made sure she took care of so many different people. So
Yeah.
shout out to Dolly Parton.
And she was just so authentic. I love that. I love that about her. Very authentic. And
Yep.
and the stories that you hear about her from others, it's not stuff that she's promoting. It's stuff that people are saying that she did for them, and she did for a whole community to make sure that the community was right and all of that. It's not something that she promoted on her own. So it's authentic at that point.
Yeah.
All right, who we got in this chat? I see RE is in the house. G's, Bellflower, Nancy, Grant is in the house. Vanessa Grace, Paul Wall, Prince Paul. Good to see you, Paul. Yes, R&P Dolly. We got a question from G Money. He wants to know, Sir Darium, you say so much to support all of us. What is something we could do to help and support you? That's a good question, G Money.
Wow. Grant, what can you all do to support me more than what you're already doing? I think that what was something that you all can do to support me is to be a lot more open minded about what this journey is about. I see so many of our people who are struggling to find their space because they're doing things a little bit differently. And if I try to do my best to support people where they are. I don't try to correct people. I don't try to give people advice on this and that. I try to give them the support, or if where they are. But there's so many different experiences that are going on in our community. And if you take this time just to see somebody else's perspective, I think that we all will grow a little bit more. So what helps me is making sure that we don't leave anybody behind. What helps me is to make sure that if I'm somebody who is looking for some help, I know there are other people who are looking for some help and some support. So don't leave any of our people behind. Take care of one another, love each other, and also stop being so close minded to those people who are close minded.
And if you haven't already done so, make sure you subscribe to Darium's Substack, The Messy Middle. That's another thing you can do to support
Oh,
Darium.
so there you go. Thank you, RMZ. See, that's why you're the host.
Jeez is in the house. Thank you, Jeez, for the super chat. Appreciate you. Stellar job as usual, fellas. Obesity
Thank you,
warriors,
G's.
stand up. All right, Nancy has a question. She wants to know if you can share some small things that we can do to advocate. I believe in the ripple effect. Little ripples make big waves.
Agree. And hey, spoiler alert. When I went into that small group advocacy class, I walked in, and it was quite a few of us who were in there, and I walked into the room, and then trying to find space, people were already at tables, and I heard somebody just calling Dairam out of the blue. I'm turning around. Who knows I'm here? Other than Nancy Germain, who was in the who was over there, and I went over there and sat next to her. So we were in the same advocacy class. And what some of the small things people can do to advocate is stop living small, take up space, stop apologizing for being a person who is living in a larger body, or somebody who feels that they have to apologize or shrink. Take up space. Know that it's okay to take up space, because if you show courage that I'm not going to shrink for anybody, it gives somebody else permission to do the same, because representation matters. So if you stop living small, to me, that's a great way to show others how to advocate for themselves.
That's a great word. Speaking of words, John Henri says, all them damn words.
Sir, go to bed.
He says that comment was for Darian only. He knows he is loved. Both of y'all are loved. We got another super chat from my guy King Smith.
What?
Salute to
The
RMZ and
king
it's
is in the
Darian.
house. The real king is in the house.
Yes. Thanks for dropping through, King. Good to see you. Thank you for the super chat as well. And Nancy says, talk to my dentist into getting an exam chair supported up to 900 pounds. Many people quit going to the dentist because they didn't fit in the chair. I don't want credit for this. Just wanted to help. That's awesome, Nancy. That's awesome.
Oh, I love that. I love that. See, those are the things that you may not ever benefit from your advocacy, but that person who's coming in there who would be the first person that be able to sit in this chair that could support their weight would never know that Nancy was the one who told them. But what quality of life improvement will they have had that she had the courage to speak up about it? That she told the powers that be, hey, do a different thing. You talk about a ripple effect.
Yeah.
That's it in real time.
Yeah. Yeah. Love that. All right. Is there any more questions from the community?
I think you just did such a great job that they didn't have any questions.
Hey, that's what I go to all the time. And that may not be true, but I'm gonna ride with that.
I'm with you. Until unless they tell you something different.
Yeah. If not, we'll wrap it up here. Um, I want to thank you for. I'm waiting to see if someone's typing something.
But while they're waiting to type it, before you thank me, let me thank you for pressing ahead, coming forth through all of the things that you're going on in your life. You never forget this community. You never forget men. You never forget people taking care of their health. And despite all that you are going through, you still show up and you still put your best foot forward. So whatever you need, please, what can we do to support you? Let us know. Let us know if it's just reaching out, just sending you a note, just saying, hey, I'm thinking about you. What are some of the things that we can do? But I also want to say thank you for all that you're doing. Thank you for the sacrifices that you're making. Thank you, because there's so many people who talk about how RMZ got them to do different things that you'll never know those ripples. So we appreciate that. I know that sometimes you may think, why am I doing this? but the work you're doing is making a difference. So I want to say thank you for that. Thank you for having me on as well, because I appreciate you. I
Thank
really,
you.
really do.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you for those kind words. Appreciate you. Grant has a question. He wants to know how I am doing. Grant was one of the gentlemen that reached out to me, sent me a text to check on me, see how I was doing. I appreciate that. I got texts from Dairam, from Grant, from G's, from Paul. All my fellas reached out and checked on me. I'm doing well. Like I said at the top of the show, my brother-in-law is doing well. If you guys didn't know, he part of the reason why I stepped away is that I had to go to California to see about him and my sister. He had a dissection of his aorta, and they ended up putting like 5 stents in his aorta valve and a stent in his arm, left arm stent in his left leg, stent in his kidneys, and he was in the emergency cardiac ICU for weeks on end on a feeding tube. So it was kind of touch and go for a while. But he got the feeding tube removed, the oxygen removed, or breathing tube. They moved him to a new facility to start his physical therapy, and I think on Saturday or Sunday he was released from that. So he's back home, doing well. My sister's doing well. For myself, me personally, I'm doing well. I'm sore. I'm still trying to work out a little bit so I don't lose a lot of progress. Just trying to um, um, do things that don't cause me a lot of pain. And my surgery has been scheduled for September 15th. I'll have a bilateral hernia repair. Unfortunately, I don't know what kind of surgery it's going to be. It may be robotic laparoscopically, or it may end up being open, which will change the dynamic as far as the healing process. I'm thinking it's probably going to be end up being open because of the previous surgery and the mesh that's in there and the potential scar tissue. But I am really hoping for the robotic laparoscopic surgery because that will get me back on my feet in a week or two. And I find out about my foot. That's kind of leaning toward the surgery. I have an appointment with the doctor on Friday to find out how we move forward. So I'm doing well. I'm in good spirits. This work is keeping me busy, and I'm gearing up. I'm actually going to document my journey on for my surgery as well. So, fellas are concerned are out there because we are more prone to get these kind of hernias, the inguinal hernias, because of our where our bodies are. We have those natural holes from where our testicles drop and all of that. So we're more prone to get these. And this is my second time getting them bilaterally. So I'm going to document my journey from start to probably my first week after recovery. So let you guys know how I'm doing. Let's see. Uh, King Smith says, I echo the sentiment. Appreciate you again, King. Um, and Grant echoes your statement. RE says, no questions. Just glad to see you're back and doing well. This is a great platform focused on health, and it's appreciated, RMC. I appreciate that, RE. Good to see you again. And what Kirky says, my brother, RMZ, was also diagnosed with prostate cancer. You sharing your journey gave me a greater understanding of what he's going through. Thank you, and thank you to Darian. That is, I'm happy to hear that with Kirky. I I get random DMs from wives, from daughters, and from some men asking about my prostate cancer journey. They want information and insight, and I'm glad that I can kind of alleviate some of their concerns and tell them about my experience. So uh, I'm glad that I can educate people on that. So I'm glad to hear that. Um, And Nancy says, how long before you can work out again afterwards? Nancy, that depends on the surgery type. He says that if it's completely robotic surgery, I can work out in a week, no restrictions. I probably won't do it in a week, but that's what the doctor says. But if it's open surgery, it will be at least 4 to 6 weeks, if not longer, before restrictions will be lifted. So I'm hoping for the robotic surgery, of course. But then again, if I have this foot surgery around the same time, I'll be in a boot for 4 to 6 weeks anyway. So it'll probably be a moot point. So um, the healing process will be a lot easier on the robotic surgery. So I'm hoping for that. And we got another super chat from the real MVP. Thank you. Appreciate you, real MVP. Great talk tonight. Always wonderful to see you both. Thank you. And John Henry wants to know what I am doing mentally for daily and weekly for my mental health. What I am doing is um, taking time for myself. I'm kind of been off of social media other than scrolling for political news. Always not the best thing to do for mental health, but I'm a political news junkie. So I love that. And then football season is gearing up, so I've been following a lot of that. Looking forward for my USC Trojans kicking off this weekend, along with my PSU Vikings. And other than that, going to the gym, less than what I was doing before, but just going to get that stress out of my system, walking and doing all of that, doing some lifting, and other than that, just kicking it around the house, not doing much. I'm looking forward to my grandson's coming down Labor Day weekend, so looking forward to that. My wife and I are going to go see the Usher Chris Brown concert, so looking forward to that. So just living and trying to get all this stuff done before the surgery. So good question there, John O'Marie. Yeah, no, and those boots are not fun. I've never been in a boot, but I've seen people with them. My wife had one actually, so um, it'll be a whole lot better than dealing with the inflammation that I have in my foot. I can actually feel the bone on the bottom of my foot peeking through. I was telling Darium that earlier before we started. So um, it's looking like it's going towards surgery on that end. So I'm expecting that, but I want to get that done. So one thing I like to really love to do is walk, and being able to walk without pain will be great. So that's where I am. So I appreciate you all asking those questions and reaching out to me, either through a comment, a DM, or a text message to check on me to see how I'm doing. I really haven't gone anywhere. I'm just kind of took a step back to get my mental right and get prepared for what's ahead. I was real concerned about my brother-in-law and my sister, so I'm glad that they're doing well, and I'll keep you guys abreast of how things are going for me. I think I do my pre-surgery work on the 10th, and my surgery is on the 15th. So I'll bring you guys along for that journey and let you guys know how I'm doing. So look forward to that.
So you'll have to take a look at Grant. Grant has his story up where he had some surgery on his foot where he had to have a bone at one of his he had the bone in one of his feet removed, and so he had to wear a boot for a while. So he has his recovery story on this page as well. So
I'll have to check
he
that out.
knows when he says he knows what the boots are. He knows.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check. I'm gonna have to check that out. I'll have to find that. It sounds like we may be having the same surgery because they're either going to move the bone or remove the bone. It's an extra bone growth. Um, so sounds like it's the same thing, just on the surface. Yeah, and I will take it easy there, Bellflower. Everyone have a good night. And thank you again, Darian, for joining me tonight to talk about the OAC. When you mentioned that you were going on your messy middle Substack, I was interested to hear what you thought about it and what you were going to bring back to the community. And advocacy is the biggest thing that you can see right now because you hopped in front of those cameras and start posting content. So I said, I really got to get him on. He's posting
Oh,
videos now, shorts and posting on TikTok, and I got to get him on now. So I appreciate you coming on and educating us all. You actually got me excited to go next year, so hopefully I can make arrangements to get there and join you at that conference and hook up for a good time for a few good days and have some of that good New Orleans food and maybe um, um, BB can show us around.
All right, so you got to call out the VV.
Yeah. All right, everyone. Thank you again for joining us tonight. And I'll be back in the mix soon. Thank you again. Everyone have a good night.